we came tonight to talk about the holiday of Sukkot, the festival of Sukkot, and it's actually a following lesson after we had a lesson about Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and I hope, as we just before Yom Kippur, I hope that you heard, and if not, open YouTube and the recording about Yom Kippur is already available in English and in Russian. Today's lesson maybe will be a little bit shorter, but at least to have some key points about the holiday of Sukkot. And not because I love this holiday and it's my birthday, but because really it's a special time in the year, and we should know more about it. And as always, we're starting with questions. So let me ask you, what is the holiday of Sukkot? No pressure. So Daniel is saying that first of all, Sukkot is about maybe to reconnect to what our forefathers went through, our fathers and our mothers in the original Sukkot as they went out of Egypt. And we were laughing because maybe you can do it in Israel where the weather is nice, but in those parts of the world when it's cold and rainy and so on, it's a little bit tougher. But maybe it's also, in that sense, maybe it's a good motivation to move to Israel. I agree. Good.
And can it be said that simplicity, because in the end, I mean, you still have a roof over your head, you have some food to share, so you have like everything you actually maybe need like to survive. In the holiday, maybe. Usually Sukkot is not, it's not a place that actually can save you from rain or so on. Yeah, in hot places, sure. It will give you the shade you need. A little bit of shelter, right?
Right, it's a kind of a shelter. Yes.
Kind of shelter.
Yes. And also Daniel. So he's saying that he saw some photos of early years in Germany. That of course Sukkah we always had here also as well, and we also see in the books of Halakha there's a whole discussion that we know in the holiday of Sukkot we take 4 kinds of plants, right, and we shake them. So there's a question: can I shake them with gloves or not? If it's a hot place, you don't need gloves, right? So we see that, again, we do it everywhere, but if Sukkot, it's the holiday to push you towards Israel, I'm all for it. Good, okay. We see that Sukkot, it's actually very fit to the idea that we spoke about during the lesson about Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, that we said that all this month, the month of Tishrei, including Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, are holidays and a time that belongs to all humanity. It's not a Jewish thing, right? Our Jewish thing, it's in Nisan, it's Pesach and Shavuot. It's not Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah is the beginning for all humanity, right? And then Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, the Day of forgiveness and so on, and also Sukkot. Right? Suddenly we get out of our home and suddenly we are available for everybody to come in, right? And probably it's the only holiday that we're actually celebrating nature. Mm-hmm. Usually we're running away from nature. There's a whole discussion in the halakha, can actually even pray in the nature or not? And if yes, so what do I need to do? Because better to pray inside, indoors, and not outdoors. And so doing Shavuot, as we have celebrating receiving the Torah, so we'll not sleep the whole night. So we are saying no to nature and the nature of that we need to sleep. Or in Pesach, we say no to bread, right? In Yom Kippur, we don't eat and don't drink anything, right? So usually we kind of running away from nature, and then here, the only holiday, we actually running towards nature, right? It's a very very beautiful, very green holiday, right? It's not a particular holiday, right? As we said, it's a holiday for all. It's a holiday for all. We also see it that when we had a temple and we used to bring sacrifices, in this holiday, we actually practice to bring sacrifices for all humanity. So the first day of the holiday of Sukkot, you bring some amount of animals for sacrifice to answer for those number of nations in the world. The next day, one less and one less, right? 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, right? So you're going on, but so every day it's like, I want to have blessings for to those nations. And to those nations, so in 7 days of the holiday, I want to bless all 70 nations. As our sages teach us that the roots for all nations that are in this world coming from 70 roots. 70 roots, 70 nations, and therefore 70 animals that we sacrifice, 70 bulls that we sacrifice for them. Yeah, Shiv'im Parim. The holiday of Sukkot have 3 names. Can you guess?
Fest. It's just a German name.
So first of all, it's the holiday of Sukkot, right? Sukkot. How you say Sukkot in German? Like a hack.
Laubhütte.
Laubhütte?
Yeah.
Laubhütte. So the
Laubblätter?
Yeah, exactly.
The
Leaves.
ветки, лау. А хюты это
Хюты, да, хат,
домик. Вместе можно...
А heute это сегодня. And heute it's today. So, Ayom is a mamash. So, the first name is the name of Sukkot, right? Connecting with what? With the fact that when we went out of Egypt, we moved from the pyramids to live in a hut that can be destroyed any moment, right? From the monumental buildings of Egypt. What other name we have? We see that every time the Torah it says the holiday without a name, just the holiday or a holiday with a capital letter, it's Sukkot. Because the holiday is happiness, and there's not a happier holiday than Sukkot. Sukkot it's all about happiness, and therefore, in many places in Torah, the holiday of Sukkot its name it's the holiday. The last name is Chag HaAsif, the holiday of gathering or gathering the fruits and all that grew throughout the year.
What is it in English? Erntedank, that's exactly that. Thanksgiving, it's not Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So it's the end of the year. Soon we're going to be winter, and just before that, so it's also why we should be happy, because finally we see all the fruits and all that we put into the ground, and now we get the fruits, we get the results, and we gather them together, right? So it's also time of happiness. So those are the 3 names of the holiday.
Harvest.
No, not harvest. No, it's not the collecting. Harvest, it's different things. Harvest is a different thing.
So
it's before. Harvest is before.
Yeah. So can I ask? Is it the celebration of the poor abundance of the existence?
Collecting
of
collecting them.
Of
collecting the last fruits. Yeah, collecting them.
So that it's coming to an end, and you.
Holiday of collection. Holiday of collection.
Not of harvest.
No.
Okay, I got this.
Chag HaKatzir, yeah. So Katzir harvest. Katzir, it's probably I should do a better homework with the English terms. So if somebody can add me a few hours a day, but so harvest, from what I know in English, so harvest it's Katzir. It's a little bit.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. We see in the Torah that if we read about the holidays, we see that about Rosh Hashanah that there's basically nothing in the Torah besides 2 words. It says Yom Teruah, day of Teruah, And memory of Torah, Zichron Torah, that's it. We don't know anything about it from the Torah itself. We spoke about it. And then Yom Kippur. So Yom Kippur we have a lot in the Torah. And Yom Kippur, it's a day of atonement. It's a day of forgiveness. It's a day of actually manifesting, receiving the Torah, as we spoke about, because we're receiving the second tablets on Yom Kippur. And then we have, after 4 days, we have the holiday of Sukkot as a separate holiday. We've heard about it. And the 8th day of Sukkot, it's kind of the 8th day of Sukkot, but actually it's also a separate holiday. We call it Shemini Atzeret. This is what we see in the Torah. Later on, Ezra and Nehemiah, it's about 2,500 years ago. Ezra and Nehemiah, a little bit less than 2.5. So Ezra is adding another value to this holiday of Shemini Atzeret, what we call Simchat Torah, the happiness of Torah. It's something that we got into Shemini Atzeret by Ezra, and in Israel it's still one day. In the diaspora it's 2 separate days. So here we have Shemini Atzeret and Simchat Torah. In Israel, Shemini Atzeret and Simchat Torah, it's the same day. Because the main holiday is Shemini Atzeret. Simchat Torah, it's addition to Shemini Atzeret. When we read the book of the Zohar, and even more so the writings of Ahari, Rabbi Yitzchak Luria Ashkenazi, the 16th century, so we see that by Kabbalah, those holidays are actually connected, and we spoke about it. In Israel, it's 22 days from Rosh Hashanah till Simchat Torah. In diaspora, it's 23 days, right? Because Shemini Atzeret, and then we have extra day of Simchat Torah as a separate holiday. But it's actually a one process that cannot be disconnected, because Rosh Hashanah is the beginning. It's the birth or right, the beginning of life. When we have nothing, there's nothing but God, as we spoke about in the lesson about Rosh Hashanah. And then we start to elevate ourselves. We get into Yom Kippur. It's a lot of hardship and hard work. Those 10 days, they're very intense between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. In Yom Kippur, we get into Binah, and then we stay there. Getting to Sukkot, still staying in Binah, in this amazing place of abundance, receiving and collecting everything we need, everything God wants to give us, and we are able to receive. But surely we are take it down step by step through the days of Sukkot, till eventually we'll get to the same spot as we started in Rosh Hashanah, with one difference. We started empty, we came back to the same point, full. Our tank is full, and now we can move on. So it's a one process. Also, the second timeline that we have, it's of Nisan, right? So we have Pesach, and then we have counting the Omer, and eventually we have Shavuot, which also the Ari explained to us. It's also one process. It's not different dates. It's a one process. It's a little bit, it take more time, and we spoke about it when we had those holidays. We spoke about it here in our classes. It's all on YouTube. With one difference. Between Pesach and Rosh Hashanah, it's not a cycle. It's a line, because Pesach, you're starting it as a slave, getting out of slavery, till you get to the Torah, to Binah. You don't go back, because you don't want to go back to slavery, right? So it's a line. And this is why it's a particular thing. It's the nation of Israel. It's a Jewish thing. It's a national thing. The cycle part, which is Tishrei, from Rosh Hashanah to Simchat Torah, it's an international thing. It's a humanity thing. This is why it's a cycle also. Yeah? So coming back, but feel full with all that you need, all that God willing to give us much more, with whatever I build a vessel to receive. And now it's my time to shine and to bring into manifestation all those blessings. Inside Sukkot, we have a very unique mitzvah. Gaon of Vilna is saying it's one of 2 mitzvot that just by being in it, your bank account, your spiritual bank account, start to fill up quickly. It's like a video game, that you like Sonic is running and you're getting all those coins running to you just by being in this holiday. And what do I mean? So you have two mitzvot that are working this way. They're going to be saying it's in the sukkah, in the shack of Sukkot, that even if you didn't build it, it's great to build. But even if you not build it, somebody else built it. You just entered. It's kosher, and you entered. That's it. The coins are flowing. They are coming in just by being there. The only other mitzvah to working the same is being in Israel. The holiday of Sukkot is connected with Israel directly. The first time we find Sukkot in the Torah, it's with Yaakov, Jacob. When he's entering Israel, there's a place that's called Sukkot because he built a Sukkot there. It's directly connected to Israel. We have the holiday of Sukkot, remembering getting out of Egypt. Why we got out of Egypt? We got out of Egypt in order to get into Israel. This is the only reason why we got out of Egypt. Receiving the Torah is a bonus, but it wasn't the goal. The goal was getting out of slavery and having your own place, going back home. So just by being in the sukkah, you do it. Just do it. Just instead of Nike, Sukkot. Yeah? Just do it. Sukkot. We should do a slogan, right? And in Israel, the same. In the Talmud, it says that each person that will do 4 steps in Israel will be able to realize that he actually has his own spot in the world to come, in Olam Haba. So even if you're the most secular person on earth, but you live in Israel, you do mitzvah every second you're there. Every second you're there. And when we're talking about the Sukkah itself, what it fills us with, it's called energy of mercy, or Chasadim, energy of mercy. It means happiness, to be really happy, not because something happened, or I'm happy because I'm happy, and my happiness bringing me all the rest. My happiness is not because something, but everything else in my life is because I'm happy. It means certainty, so I have faith and certainty with God. Mercy, if in one word we call it mercy, and with it also will come sustenance and abundance. Yes, of course. And therefore, you're not allowed to be miserable in the sukkah. So if you call, dress well and run to the sukkah as much as you can. There are rabbis that the only reason why they went out of the sukkah is because they need to go to the toilet for 5 minutes. That's it. Sleeping, eating, praying, studying, playing, everything in the sukkah. Not to waste a second of this blessing, because being in the sukkah works only for those 7 days. That's it. Before that, after that, you don't have it. The bank is open for 7 days, or you're entering and getting it and getting your share, or wait for another year. So also us, we should do maximum to be inside. Again, we're not allowed to suffer. Therefore, if there is a pouring rain, of course you don't go to the sukkah. But you go to the sukkah to have something nice to eat, drink. We're not allowed to suffer in the sukkah. Make sure you're coming comfortable and coming with good mood. Also, because of that, we're not allowed to argue and to fight in the sukkah, because we're canceling the sukkah, chas v'shalom. Not bad mouthing, my temperature, something happened, guys, stop, get out of the sukkah, continue. In the sukkah, God forbid, we're not fighting. Doesn't matter who's right. We see that with those holidays, we finally understand that our work before God can be different in different times. Because in Hoshanah, what we do? Nothing. We silently sit or stand and hear the shofar. We are passive in Rosh Hashanah, right? Because it's Malchut. In Malchut you have nothing. And therefore the only thing you can do is do nothing. So we do nothing in Rosh Hashanah. And then slowly but surely you're working on it, you're building it, you're going higher and higher, higher and higher, till Yom Kippur you're in Binah. So you are in an alternative world, you're in the spiritual world, so you want to make sure not to fall out of there. So you disconnect and you say no thank you to anything that is earthy, everything that is materialistic. Therefore we don't eat, we don't drink, we don't do, we're not getting into intercourse, creams and washing ourselves and so on. Nothing physical during this time. Not because I want to suffer, the opposite. I don't want to fall. I'm finally there, without being an angel, without being a prophet or being a righteous man or woman. I'm there. I don't want to mess it up, right? This is Yom Kippur, unbelievable. And then Sukkot, we have a different already set of tools, like the Sukkah that we build. So by the way, this coming Sunday we're going to build 3 Sukkot. The Jugend Center, we're going to have his Sukkah. We're going to have the main Sukkah here, and also the elderly going to have their Sukkah. So, dear men, at 10 a.m. this coming Sunday, we're going to have a shacharit. We're going to do the prayer. Finish the prayer in about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Coffee break, tea break, and then at 11 a.m. we're starting to build it. So, tell your fathers, brothers, sons, uncles, friends, bring everybody to take part of it, because it's our Sukkah. We want all to be part of it. Dear women, children, at 1:30 p.m. we're going to have our Zonentag Shul. We're going to have our Sunday school for the kids, and together with the parents and friends and sisters and brothers, going to create all kind of decor to the Sukkah. And after everybody together, we're going to make our Sukkah nice. So make sure that at least one thing you put in the Sukkah, it's our Sukkah, we're going to use it. We should take part of it actively. So let's make sure that all our friends and our family know to take part of it as well. Another instrument we have is the 4 plants that we use, right? I'm going to talk about them, of course, during the holiday itself, because actually as a tool it's a little bit weird. It might remind us some of pagan work, right? Because you take plants. No, we need to understand how it works, why the Torah is telling us to use it, and so on and so forth. But we're going to talk about it during the holiday itself. Tonight we're not going to go into it. And of course, the fact that in the holiday we're not working and we need to be happy, and we have the meals and the prayers and so on, also as an instrument to those in our work before of Hashem, before of God, till Simchat Torah, when we are dancing with the Torah, and so on and so forth.
You made a joke about tequila and Mexican.
Yes. Okay.
And we need to translate it.
In the day of Sukkot, we're finishing with the holiday of Shemini Atzeret and Simchat Torah. Now in the Torah, Shemini Atzeret is a holiday. God tells us it's a holiday, but there's no content in it. And why? Because the content, it's up to us. This is what Ezra is doing almost 2,500 years ago, when he coming and he adding Simchat Torah into this day. Therefore, in Israel, it's a one day, so it's a day that it's so intense, so happy, but so intense. In diaspora, Shemini Atzeret, it's like an empty holiday. You don't understand. Oh, you have Yizkor, you have the prayer for those who passed away, which is very important. But besides that, okay, so there's a kind of standard prayer, like Shabbat, just holiday. Torah, you eat, but you don't have shofar, you don't have Lulav and Etrog, you don't have Sukkah, you don't have matzah. I mean, what do you do? It's like a little bit. Why? Because it's up to us, the content of this holiday. And of course, Simchat Torah, and Shemini Atzeret actually one holiday. Just that's why we divided it into 2, and we put the idea of Simchat Torah into the second day. Actually, Chabad doing something that only Chabad do. from what I know, no other Hasidut, no one else does it, and I'm not sure what it's built on. Therefore, I don't do it myself also. That they dance with the Torah 3 times. In Shemini Atzeret evening, and then Simchat Torah evening, eve of Simchat Torah, and the day of Simchat Torah. So the eve of Shemini Atzeret, I have no idea what it's based on. The only ones to do it, it's Chabad. It's the Hasidut of Chabad. So if you're a Chabadnik, why not? If you're not a Hasid Chabad, I mean, I really don't understand what it's based on. Really. In Israel, the opposite. In Israel, you do 3 times because of diaspora and because they're, even after the holiday there ends, but here we have holiday, so some energy of it continues. So it's called like a Kafot Shniot. It's something that Ari HaKadosh used to do. Maybe they try to copy it from there just to the diaspora, I don't know. Maybe one day I will be able to sit and to study with someone how come. But we do not do it. And I don't do it because I didn't find the explanation of why. And I prefer to do things because I know why. But so for example, in our city, one of the communities is going to do also in Shemini Atzeret. But besides them, so Shemini Atzeret looks like it's a good time to be with the family, with the friends, right? And to have a holiday just because God said so, to be closer to God, because we are finishing 23 days here in diaspora. And we got an extra day to be closer to God. Let's stay there, right? The bank didn't close yet. It's still open for a bit. Let's stay there a little bit longer. So this is Shemini Atzeret and Simchat Torah, and the idea that we're finishing with Torah because the Torah, it's not a book. It's the words of God. God's talking to us. This is why, till a few hundred years ago, all the writings, all the Jewish writings in history, and we write quite a lot, are about the Torah. So we have the Torah, the 5 books of Moses, and then the next 1,000 years, because from Moses to the last prophet, which is which is Malachi, it's 1,000 years time. So all those writings, it's about the Torah. And after that, with the Talmud, it's all about the Torah. Even Spinoza, right? That was an anti-religion and it talks about the Torah, right? We spoke about that in Shabbat. So the Torah, it's such a thing that we said in the portion of Vayeler, it's a mitzvah on each and every one of us to write the Torah. But the idea is that we dance with the Torah, we kiss it, we hug it, we read it, we study it, we debate with it. If the Torah got spoiled, the Torah got ruined with time and so on, we bury it like a family member who died, who passed away. If the Torah will fall, the whole congregation, we need to fast, not eat and not drink. So it's because it's live words of God to us. So to finish with that, it actually makes a lot of sense. And therefore, what we do in Simchat Torah, it's one of the most important Torah readings ever. Because the last portion of the Torah, there is no Shabbat that we read it. Right? We read every Shabbat, we read portion of the week, sometimes 2 portions. The last portion of the Torah, you don't have a Shabbos for it. The only time that you read the whole portion, it's during Simchat Torah. And right after, you start the Bereshit. Because that's a cycle. But why you start Bereshit? Because we just finished the Torah, and now we're full with everything, we can start. Because our bags are full, our bank account is full, we can go forward. We can move forward, we have we have what to manifest. And this is why it's so beautiful that the last word of the Torah is Israel, the last letter of Israel is Lamed. The first word of the Torah is Bereshit, Bet. Lamed and Bet, it's Lev, it's heart. As our heart beats, so we read the Torah. And it's not a coincidence that even after we lost Israel, about 2,000 years ago, our heart as a nation continued to beat only because we had the Torah. Only because we had the Torah. And so every year we're renewing it, this moment. This is why during Simchat Torah it's so important to not only to dance, to dance and to drink. Some, because in our area people have to drink during Simchat Torah. In Israel you don't really see it. Maybe in some places, but in my holidays in Russia, in Latvia, so people coming to drink. So, by the way, if there is a good rabbi, so also you will take them to dance with the Torah. But so I was sharing a story many years ago. Actually, many years ago. We're talking about almost 20 years ago. When I was 21, 22, almost 20, about 20 years ago. There was a congregation in Mexico City, in Mexico. And the rabbi needed to leave, and he asked me to fill for him for Sukkot. So I did that, even though I'm not poquito hablo español. I don't really speak Spanish. Even though after a week there, I gave a whole sentences in Spanish. Spanish much easier than German, I have to tell you. And so I was living also in Los Angeles, so you have so much Spanish around you that you get it. But and then he asked me to stay also for Simchat Torah, so I stayed. And I wake up for Simchat Torah, and I'm fevering. I have fever 40 Celsius. I'm like I'm sick out of my mind. I'm like half dead, but there's nobody else to do that. I'm there. So I'm running the whole holiday. So one of the main guys there, so he tried to help me to be on my feet because I was out of it. So every akafa, every time we dance with the Torah, he'd take me aside to a small room and give me a tequila shot with the lime and the salt and the whole thing. But till the holiday ends, I didn't have a fever anymore. But I don't recommend to do that. It's kind of stupidity, right? Because we should keep our health. We should not play with our health, even for a holiday. We spoke about it also in the lesson of Yom Kippur. But anyhow, it was a happy Simchat Torah. Yeah. Anyway, so more or less. We got reminded about the process that we went through during this month, and we spoke also about Sukkot. Of course, we didn't get to all the specifics because just about the Sukkah and why it looks the way it looks, and the roof of the Sukkah, which is supposed to be very special, and how you do that, and how you build it, and all the rules about it. Maybe we will be able to run fast with it, but only about the Sukkah we can give a whole lesson. With practices, how to build it and why the way it is, but also why the Sukkah, it's like Bina, why the Sukkah, it's a mitzvah to be inside. Just about it, to talk about it, easily 2 hours. We can fill 2 hours in one language, nothing to. And then the Lulav, the Etrog and so on, just about that. Easy, hour or two, talk just about that. And the holidays and the sacrifice that we have in Sukkot. Why this and why that? And then inside Sukkot also we have what called Simchat Beit HaShoeva. That there is specific days during the holiday of Sukkot that we dedicate for happiness, that connected with water, and so on. And then the 7th day of Sukkot, it's a special day that's called Hoshanah Rabbah. Only about that we can talk for a while. And then of course Simchat Torah. About each and every of those moments we can talk and explain, and there's so much to study, and therefore I urge you, not now because now before Yom Kippur, but Yom Kippur ends and you run to the books, you run to YouTube. I guess you are here every week, so my lessons are okay for you. So in English, of course, I don't have it, sorry. But in Russian, I have specific lessons about all those stories. Go and find it about Sukkot and about Simchat Torah and about. There's so much to study. There are beautiful rabbis that giving amazing lessons Just need to find them. If you need to consult with me, I have recommendations to give of other teachers as well, of course. And get ready for this holiday, because we can change our life if we realize that it's not just a tradition, it's so much more. So if we also want to do more, for example, there is the series that called Pninei Halacha. So Pninei Halacha, it's a series of books of Halacha that also we have in English. German I didn't see there, they have in French, Russian, English, German not yet, but in English all the Halacha that in a very bright way it's written, and you don't have even to order physically, you have on their online everything open, because it's a project for people to have. It's amazing, beautiful project. I'm not sure if one of the books that they wrote also it's called Jewish Tradition by the Rabbi Eliezer Melamed. I urge you to open Pninei Halacha in English and check if they have it also online. If not, so to order it, because this book, it's like a mini encyclopedia of Judaism that in a nutshell, in a very easy language, explaining even the Sukkah, the different, what we spoke about, but in a very easy way, so you have it. You might have it also in English online, so just to check it, because the halacha you have, this one I'm not sure that they have it on their portal, or there's something similar to it, older, that wrote Rav Lau. It's called Practice of Judaism. You have it. I saw it also in German, the book. In Russian you have it online, open for everybody. So, but in English and in German, I'm not sure if you have it online. But physically, I saw the book. Actually, I have it in my office, a copy in German of this book. Also, so you should have such a book at home, because it's like a mini encyclopedia about Judaism, the holidays, the basics of it, and so on, with some nice ideas, something to have.
So how did they make it just one book?
Because it's a mini encyclopedia.
I was just
So
kidding, because it's so much.
yeah, no. So yeah. But it's really in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know this book by heart, first of all, our lessons will be much easier for you. And to practice at home will be much easier. You will know, and you'll be able to choose. Okay, I know it, but I don't want to do it. Or I know it and I want to do it. But you really will have your choice. People think, oh, I have a choice, I don't want to practice. You don't know what you practice or not. It's not a free choice.
It's not an informed choice, right?
Right? Mm-hmm. Choice is only when I know, okay, I got it, I tried, no, I don't. Right, exactly. So those are my basic recommendations to find. If you find it also online, please let me know so we can share the link with others. Questions? 7 days of consolation, starting from Tisha B'Av and finishing in Rosh Hashanah. So you have exactly 7 weeks between 9th of Av and those 7 weeks. The Haftarah after the Torah reading is connected with like canceling and yeah. Anything else? Maybe answers, if not questions. No?
I'm not sure if the question is okay, maybe it's just opening up too much, but again and again it's like the emphasis on the fact that you have that it's needed for the hut that it's possible to see the stars.
Yes.
So can you like...
So the idea is the most important thing with Sukkah is to make sure that the roof is from vegetation that's not connected to earth. Now, the idea of at least a little bit to see, you don't really need to see, you need to make sure that you have more shadow than sun inside the Sukkah, but it cannot be tight. Why? Because if it's tight, it means it's not already, it's not a temporary housing.
Mm-hmm. Then it's a house.
Yeah, because it saves you from nature.
Mm-hmm.
You need that at least some, again, if you have too much holes, it's not good, because it means that you have also more sun than shade, right? But so at least some. And then also we're talking about that Sukkah connected to our faith with God. So you see and you do not see. Mm-hmm. So you have many, many, many things about it. Hmm?